Group Contingencies for Hallway Transitions by Ashley B., Aaron Farrell, Andrew Martin, Thomas R., and Jenny Vetter. Why are we here? Group 4 Consulting has been hired to come in over a 6-week period to assist Hall Elementary School student hallway transitions. Our plan is to implement a hallway intervention beginning with pre-K and kindergarten classes. Intervention strategies will include using positive reinforcement instead of what is currently being used, positive punishment in the form of write-ups, and providing thorough staff training. By beginning intervention with the pre-K and kindergarten classes, we will address the primary safety concerns presented by the pre-K and kindergarten classes running out of the building or hiding within the school. As you know, this safety issue causes several of the staff to stop monitoring their posts to go search for missing students. This group of students has the highest safety concern and consequently experiences the most interference with instructional time within school at large. Target behaviors and operational definitions. The reduction of disruptive hallway behavior will be targeted during the intervention. Disruptive hallway behavior is defined as running in the hallways, being out of line if the class walks in a line between classrooms, not keeping one's hands to him or herself, or leaving school grounds. Examples include intentional hitting with force, touching with intent to annoy or pester, running, walking out of line when with the rest of the class, and leaving the school premises. Non-examples include giving each other high fives when the teacher allows it, walking in a line that is considered acceptable by the instructor. Introduction. What is a group contingency? A group contingency specifies the contingent relationship between the completion of a given task or specified behavior and access to a specific reward. It describes both the tasks and the reward to be given. There are 3 types of group contingencies: dependent, interdependent, and independent. The reward is given to an individual, a small group, or to the entire group that has completed a task. This method is commonly applied in educational settings to manage classroom behavior. What are the benefits of using a group contingency? Group contingencies have been found to be effective in producing desirable behavior change in a variety of educational settings and with a wide range of student populations. Group contingencies are ideal for schools because they are more efficient than individual contingencies. They allow a single teacher or administrator to control the behavior of a large group of students. Group contingencies are easy to implement and require comparatively low effort considering the potential amount of behavior they can affect. Ease of implementation and inclusivity are especially influential factors in choosing a group contingency intervention plan because the resources to control these implementing the procedure may be limited.
So the first line here is about a lot of the stuff that goes into the intervention. We will be explaining these, but they're also written down so you can refer back to them if you need to in the future. When it comes to the candy, you'll want to poll your students to find out which type of candy they like so the intervention has the maximum impact. Basically, the intervention is the mystery walker game. So before the hallway transition, the teacher will split the class into 2 lines and say that we're going to play the mystery walker game. He or she will pick one boy and one girl and will watch their behavior. He or she, the teacher, he or she is not going to tell the students who he or she picked, and then when they go walk, the teacher will watch that boy and that girl, and if they do well, then all of their gender will get candy at the end of the walk. This is a walking diagram, kind of just to show how it's going to go. There will be an IOA data person for about half of the walks, and we'll talk about that a little bit later.
During the 12:30 p.m. recess to classroom and the 3:50 p.m. classroom to home transportation transition times, the pre-K or kindergarten classroom teacher for each class will observe the selected mystery walkers. Data will be collected using partial interval collection with 1-minute intervals. At the beginning of each transition, the teacher will start a 1-minute timer. When the timer goes off, the teacher will record their data and restart the timer. During each 1-minute interval that one of the chosen mystery walkers engages in disruptive hallway behavior at any point, the staff member will mark yes on the data sheet. If no disruptive hallway behavior occurred during the 1-minute interval, the staff member will mark no on the data sheet. A sample data sheet is included on the right side of your screen. To ensure that the data being collected is accurate, a second monitor will also collect data during 45% of monitored transitions, which will allow for the calculation. To ensure that the data being collected is accurate, a second monitor will also collect data during 45% of monitored transitions. How will this intervention apply to your school? With more appropriate hallway behavior. How will this intervention apply to your school? With more appropriate hallway.
All right, before we wrap things up, I'm just going to give you a quick overview of what a school-wide implementation plan is. If you will look at the ABA guideline that we gave you, you will see that a school-wide implementation plan is a tool that is used to affect large-scale behavioral change. What does this mean for Halls Elementary? Well, like we said earlier, we're going to be using a Tier 1 approach to address the problem behavior for the entirety of the pre-kindergarten and kindergarten students, and we're not going to focus on any selective groups or individuals. Again, we're going to be using the Mystery Walker game protocol, and a little bit of background on this procedure. It was proven to be successful by Deshae, Fisher, and Kong in a study entitled A Preliminary Investigation of a Randomized Dependent Group Contingency for Hallway Transitions. And in this study, they selected 2 students in first grade that had very high rates of disruptive hallway behavior. They implemented the group contingency for the entire class and monitored the behavior of the students after it was put into place. They were able to show, obviously, that the rates of disruptive behavior in the hallway were reduced over time. So lastly, a couple of implementation tips. You always need to be consistent. Every time the child earns a reward, you need to give it to them. Be quick. They need to be given immediately after you determine whether or not the students have met criteria for good hallway behavior. And lastly, be very enthusiastic. Always praise the mystery walker and all the other students for behaving correctly and appropriately in the hallway. Too much praise can never be enough. So that concludes our training, and thank you for coming. We hope everything makes sense, and we look forward to working with you in the future.